Welcome back to another video. How you all doing today? Hope you're doing good. Thank you so much guys for always coming back to watch my video. If you're new here, you're highly welcome, and for my returning subscribers, you guys are the best. Thank you so much for coming back. Subscribe please if you have not done that, and don't forget to turn on your notification bell so you get to know whenever I upload new video. So today's video will be on a female pant drafting. These are the items we'll be needing for this tutorial. We'll be needing pattern paper, rulers. I have different types of rulers here, staple, marker, and paper scissors. So let's get started. So this is my starting point. So I marked out a line here, and I have a straight line here also. The length of my trouser is 40 inches. This is 40 inches. I make a line here. I'll be adding the folding allowance as we move on. So we'll go ahead and place the measurement. We'll first place our vertical measurement. From waist to hip is 8 inches. I'll be using 2 inches for waistband. So I will minus 2 inches. I'll place my tape like so. Here, this is my starting point. I will minus the 2 inches and mark 8 inches. The crotch measurement is a quarter of your hip measurement. The hip measurement I'm working with is 46 inches divided by 4 is 11.5. I'll mark 11.5 here. I will still minus the 2 inches for the waistband. I will go ahead and make a straight line here. So we are marking our vertical line. This is the crotch line. I will measure right from the crotch line to the length of the trouser. I will look for the midpoint and go up by 2 inches. So I have 30.5 here, and half of 30.5 is 15.5. So from this 15.5, I will go up by 2 inches. So I'll be marking 13.5 here. It depends on how tall your client is. If the person is tall, you go up by 2 inches. If the person is not that tall, you go up by 1 inch right from the midpoint. But for this one I'm making, I'll go up by 2 inches right from 15.5. So I'll be marking 13.5 here. We'll still make a straight line here. You can decide to add your thigh measurement here, but I don't think I'll be needing it. It's optional. And that's it for the vertical measurement. So we'll go ahead and place the circumference measurement. This is the hip line. I will divide the hip measurement by 4. The hip measurement is 46 inches divided by 4 is 11.5. I will mark 11.5 here and add ½ inch for ease. That is 12 inches. So this is the hip measurement. Is either you add 2 to the hip measurement and divide it by 4. 46 plus 2 is 48. Divided by 4 is 12 inches. So it's still the same thing. You divide the hip by 4 and add ½ inch for ease, or you add 2 inches to the hip measurement and divide it by 4. So it's still 12 inches. I will mark 12 inches here plus ½ inch for ease. I will go to the thigh and the waistline and still mark these 12 inches there. Go to the waistline and mark 12 inches or so. I will make a straight line here. Here, this is the crotch line. Remember, we'll place our hip measurement here plus ½ inch for ease. I will go to this same line and go inside by ½ inch. I'll mark ½ inch here. So I will just slant this ½ inch. I will take it and curve it to meet this same line. This is very important. It makes the front part relax very well. From this line I went inside by ½ inch. So we're going to be placing the waist measurement. The waist measurement is 38 inches divided by 4 is 9.5 inches. I'll be adding ½ inch for ease. That is 10 inches. Right from this line, I will mark 10 inches. So I will make the hip curve. I will connect this 10.5 inches to the hip line. I will make a curve here. I will use the trouser curve to make a curve here. For us, what we are going to do next is to create the crotch extension. I have different ways of making my trousers. To get the crotch extension, is either you divide your thigh measurement by 2 and place it here, or you use the other method. So you will go to the hip line and check what you have here. I have 12 inches here. You will divide the 12 inches by 4. Whatever you get from this 12 inches, you mark it here. Basically the same thing. So this is the hip line. I place my taper here. I have 12 inches here. So 12 divided by 4 is 3 inches. So if I want to mark now, I will mark 3 inches here. Okay, let me use the other method. The thigh measurement I'm working with is 30 inches. 30 divided by 2 is 15 inches. So you go to this place and mark your 15 inches here. So if you still mark 15 inches here, you're still going to get the same thing. Because this is 12 inches. The extension is 3 inches. So it's still the same thing. It's either you use this or you use the other method. So let's just flow with any method. So this is 12 inches divided by 4 is 3 inches. So I'll mark 3 inches here. That's my crotch extension. Right from this curve here, I will mark 1.5 inches. Yeah, from this curve. So I will go ahead and connect it like so. From the hip, I will connect it like so. So I'll connect it like so. So that's it for this part. What we are going to do next is to look for the grain line. You can call it grain line, center line, tailor's line, or grease line. And this is the crotch line. I'll place my tape measurement here. I will divide whatever measurement I get here by 2. So this is 15 inches. So I will look for the midpoint of this 15 inches. This is the midpoint. 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. So this is 7.5 inches. I'll mark 7.5 inches here. I will go up, mark 7.5 inches. And I'll also do the same thing for the waistline. So I will mark 7.5 inches right from this line all the way to the length of the trouser. I'll go ahead and make a straight line here. I will mark it all the way to the length of the trouser. The next thing we're going to do is to place the knee and the ankle measurement so we can get the proper shape of the trouser. The knee measurement is 20 inches. 20 divided by 2. Remember I said I will only be dividing the waist and the hip by 4. The rest will be divided by 2. The round knee measurement is 20 inches. Divided by 2 is 10 inches. So I will divide these 10 inches into 2. That's the main reason I marked this green line. This green line will give us guideline of how many inches we have to place on each side. So I'll mark 5 inches here and mark 5 inches here. That's 10 inches. So we go to the ankle. The round ankle measurement is 14 inches. Divided by 2 is 7 inches. So I will divide the 7 inches into 2. I'll mark 3.5 inches here and 3.5 inches here. 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. Okay. So what we are going to do is to connect this from the hip line. I will connect it to the knee. From the knee, I will connect it to the ankle. So I will start with this. Then I'll use my straight ruler to connect it to the ankle. I'll go to this side. I'll connect it right from the crotch line to the knee, from the knee to the ankle. I'll place my ruler like so. And use the straight part to bring it down to the ankle. Don't forget to add your dart measurement. I almost forgot. So I will mark 1 inch for that. I'll blend it and curve it to this hip line. So we're almost done with the front part. What we are going to do next is to impute the dart measurement. And this gray line, this center line, is where I'm going to impute my dart measurement. My dart measurement is 1 inch. I will mark 1/2 inch on this side and 1/2 inch on this side. So, and the length of the front dart is 4 inches. So if you're marking the dart, you still have to minus the 2 inches for the waistband. So I will still place my tape like so, minus the 2 inches and mark 4 inches. So that's the length of my dart. So I will connect the dart. I'll connect this side also. If I'm transferring to my fabric, I will make a notch here. Make a notch here. Do the same thing to the front part so that if I'm sewing it, it will be easier for me to match together. So what I'm going to do now is to add 1/2 inch round. Right from this place, I will mark 1/2 inch round. That's my seam allowance. I will mark it round. Mark this side 1/2 inch. The upper part 1/2 inch. Here 1/2 inch. So for the down part, I will mark 2 inches for folding. Okay, let me just mark 2.5 inches for folding. So I will connect this like so. If I will just make a little slant here so that by the time you're folding your trouser, you will not be short of fabric. You make it like so, you're not going to connect it straight. You just a little bit, just bend it at the bottom here, a little bit. As you can see, it's not straight. Just a little curve. So I'll go ahead and mark the 1/2 inch round. So guys, I've finished adding the 1/2 inch allowance to it. What we're going to do next is to create our zipper fly or zip extension. So I will start right from here. So this is the original measurement. Right from this original measurement, I'll mark 1.5 inches for zipper fly. So I'm marking 1.5 inches. I'll mark it up to here. So I'll mark it up to where the hip measurement is. Remember, we'll minus 2 inches for waistband. I'll take it like so. You can leave it straight or make a curve here. I don't know if I'll be adding pockets to the trouser, but I will show you guys how you can add pockets to it. So to add a pocket, you will go to the side here. I will mark 2 inches inside, right from the original measurement. Yeah, this is the original measurement. So I will mark 2 inches. So the length is 6.5 inches. I mark 2 inches here, mark 6.5 inches here. So I'll go ahead and connect it. It depends on the curve you're going for. You can take it from here straight to this 6.5 inches, just like V-line. You can curve it also. I think I'll be curving it. So I use my curve ruler to make a curve here. So this is the pocket. So right from here, I will mark 1/2 inch for sewing allowance. So go ahead and cut it out. And before I cut out the pocket, I will show you how you can use this to cut out the pocket and the pocket facing. That's it. So I've cut it out. We'll go ahead and cut out the pocket and the facing. So I'll be using this for the pocket. I have about 10 inches length here. And the wideness is 8 inches. You know, we minus 2 inches already. The pocket is up to the crotch line. And then the wideness is up to where the dart is. So I'll be using these 2 pockets. So I'm cutting both of them together. So I cut out 2 of these. The wideness is 8 inches and the length is 10 inches. One is pocket, one is the pocket facing. So right from this edge here, I will go inside by 1.5. I'm just trying to shape this part. You can leave it straight like this. It just depends on what you want. So I will do it like so. Make a curve here. So I'll cut this out. I just want to cut both of them together just to have that curve. So I've cut out the facing. This is the facing. And I'll be placing these here. I'll be cutting these out and cut both of them together. Remember, this 1/2 inch is for sewing allowance for the pocket. So I just want to cut them together. As you can see, so this is the pocket and this is the facing.
This is the pocket. And this is pocket facing.
And place it like so. And this one will be under. That's the pocket facing will be under. So that's it. So we'll go ahead and label everything. This is the waistline. This is the hip line. This is the crotch line. So this is my gray line.
This is the knee. And this is the ankle. So that's it. This is the zipper fly.
So that's it for the front part. Once the front is drafted out, the back is super easy. So I will just place this like so. We'll just use a sellotape to hold it down because we'll be using this to cut out the back pattern. So guys, we'll be cutting out the back panel. We'll use the front to trace out the back side. So this is the front. And I just use a sellotape to seal this place so I can use it to cut out the back one. That's the facing and the pocket. This is the back one. If you're cutting it out, make sure the back is longer than the front one and is also wider than the front. So we'll go ahead and trace it out. I will start right from the bottom. I will mark 1 inch here. This is the ankle measurement. I will mark it right from the original measurement. So right from this original measurement, I will mark 1 inch on this side. Then mark 1 inch on this side. I will do the same thing for the knee side. I will still mark 1 inch. I'll mark the 1 inch right from here. That is the original measurement. Whatever you mark on this side, you make sure you mark it on this other side. So I will mark a straight line here. I'll mark this side also. So we'll go to the upper part now. So we'll go ahead and mark the crotch extension for the back side. This is the crotch line. I will mark 2 inches for crotch extension. I will mark it right from this line, this original line. Right from this crotch line, I will go down by ½ inch. That's for the back side. So I will come down from this crotch line, this 2 inches crotch line. I will come down by ½ inch. Alright. So we will go here. This is the dart line. So right from here to the dart line, I will check what I have here and look for the midpoint. So I have 4¼ inches here. So I'll look for the midpoint. This is the midpoint. I'll mark it here. So I will go to the front crotch extension. Whatever I measure here, I will take it up here. So I will check what I have here. Remember, my front crotch extension is 3 inches. I have 3 inches here. I'll transfer these 3 inches to this side. I will mark it up right on this midpoint here I marked earlier. So I'll mark 3 inches right on this line. We'll go back to this crotch angle here. Remember, we marked 1½ inches here to make the crotch curve. But from here, right from this same line, we mark 2 inches for the back side. Ignore this line here, please. So this is 2 inches. I'll make a dot here, exactly where the sewing allowance is. So we're going to connect it right from here to these 2 inches. From here, we'll bring it down to this ½ inch. That's the 2 inches, the extension. So you see, I make a dot here. I'll make a dot here, connect it to this. I will connect this later on. So I will go to the front waistline. I will measure what I have here and place it on this back side. Yeah, I have 12½ inches here. Remember, we went up by 3 inches. So I will still place the 12½ inches here. I will start right from here. I will mark 12½ inches here. So I will extend the back side. I'll make a line here. Then connect this like so. So before I will take the front part out of the way, I will go ahead and connect this. This is the back waistline. Remember, we marked out 1 inch on this side and 1 inch on this side. I will connect this to this 1 inch from the crotch line, the back crotch line, and connect this back waistline to this 1 inch here. We still notch the back side. I'll go ahead and take the front part out of the way. So I'll go ahead and connect the crotch. So this is the back crotch. So I'll place the dart measurement. So I will measure what I have for the front dart and place it here. I have 4¼ here. That is for the front part. The sewing allowance is not included. So I will go to the back side and place 4¼ So I'll mark it like so. The back waistline is not straight, it's a bit curved, so you make sure the dart is not straight as well. My back dart length is 5 inches. I will minus 2 inches for the waistband, so this is 4.5, 4¼ I will take my tape like so, mark 4 1/4 here also. I will make it like this because I don't want the dart to be straight. So I'll mark 1/2 inch on this side and 1/2 inch on this side. I'll connect the dart. We're almost done. I'll just mark the hip line. So that's it for the back side. Remember, we only add 1/2 inch to the front part. I'll go ahead and then add 1/2 inch round. So I've added my 1/2 inch sewing allowance. My black marker is not showing very well. I decided to use a blue marker to mark the sewing allowance. So that's basically for the back side. I'll go ahead and cut it out. The last thing we're going to do now is to cut out the waistband. Today's video is on how to draft it, and the next video will be on how to sew the pants. So guys, this is the back panel and this is the front. So we'll go ahead and cut the waistband. So we use the waist measurement to cut out the waistband. So this is a straight line. We're cutting out the belt. The waistline is 38 inches. So this is 38 inches. And I'll add 1/2 inch for ease. Remember, we added 1/2 inch for ease to the front waistline. So I'll add 1/2 inch. And I'll be adding 2 inches for overlap. This will overlap the other waistband. The wideness is 2 inches. I'll mark 2 inches round. Yeah, I'll look for the midpoint of this 38.5 inches plus sewing allowance. I'll mark 19 1/4 here. This is the midpoint. I will mark this midpoint. So this midpoint will go to the back side. So what I'm going to do is to add just 1/2 inch round. I'm not going to be adding 1/2 inch here because I'm going to be folding this like so. If you like, you can add 1/2 inch round if you know you want to stitch this side and stitch the other side. But for this one, I will be folding it this way. I will make a sign here. This will remind me that my fabric will be on fold. So I will go ahead and add 1/2 inch round. So guys, I added 1/2 inch to the waistline on this side. That's the sewing allowance. So this is the back. And this is the front. This is the facing. This is the pocket, the waistband. I would have loved to put everything in one video, but the video will be too long. So I just decided to make the drafting on its own, then sewing on its own. So our next video will be on how to sew it. Thank you so much guys for watching to the end. I will see you in my next one. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I love you. Bye.